everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new then hi, my name is Caitlin, welcome, and today I'm going to be talking you through some of the palettes that I haven't even touched this year. Now, I recently started keeping a track of all the palettes that I have used, mainly because I want to use all my palettes in a year. There's 365 days in a year. I can more than easily give all my palettes some love, but for some reason over the past 6 months I just haven't used these palettes, and I want to really make sure that I give everything a little bit of love. I am planning on doing a video very similar to this at the end of the year, kind of seeing if there's any palettes that I haven't touched all year. Hopefully there's not too many, if any, because I really don't like my collection being wasted and just gathering dust. It really makes me sad. There are some things in here that I'm not very surprised at. There are also things here that I am quite surprised at, and I want to talk through why I think I've been neglecting them and so on. But if you have not already, please like and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. Yeah, let's just get into it. So these are in no particular order. I'm just going to start with this guy first. Okay, so this is the W7 Mardi Gras palette. This is huge and this is why I'm talking about it first, just to clear up some room. This is the palette. This is a dupe of the Love Tahiti by BH Cosmetics, and this is what it looks like. Now, one of the biggest reasons I bought this is because Make Me Up Missa did a review and she was like, the quality's amazing, and yeah, the quality is amazing. However, half of this palette is pink and purples. If you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know I don't like pinks and purples, so I don't really know why I bought it, other than the fact that it was really inexpensive. I think I got this for about £13. I knew the quality was going to be great, and it was a dupe of Be Perfect, so that's the reason I bought it, and there's no other reason. This side I really love. These like 3 rows maybe I really gravitate towards, but the rest of the palette is just wasted on me. This is definitely a big reason why I haven't reached for it. Also, it's huge. My Carnival XL Pro is bigger than this, and yeah, I do reach for that more than this. However, it's just big. For a palette that I don't really gravitate towards, it's just really big. I do want to give this palette a little bit of love, at least maybe 5 uses by the end of the year. That would be amazing, because it is a newer palette in my collection. I had it in a Project 10 uses last year, and I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the looks that I made from this, but it's just, it's being a little bit wasted on me, and I don't want it to be, because it is good quality. Next we have my Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette. This is what it looks like. You can see I had hit pan in this. This was actually before I even started doing pan those eyeshadows, so I just did that before I started my YouTube channel. So you can tell how old this palette is. This palette, it makes me a little sad because I love this palette, but when I'm doing neutral looks. My Pan That palette this year is a pretty neutral palette. It is more cool toned, but if I'm going to be doing a neutral look, I'm going to be reaching for that palette. This palette is very warm neutrals, as you can see on my eyes. I love playing with colour. I love blues, greens, teals, them kind of shades. And this, unfortunately, hasn't got much love from me this year. It is sad, but I do understand the reason why I'm not reaching for this so much. Maybe I can give it a few uses by the end of the year. Maybe it'll be rolled into a No Pan Left Behind or a Pan Those Eyeshadows. That'd be good as well. We'll see. We'll see. This one makes me really sad. This is my Lethal Cosmetics custom palette. I paid a lot of money for this. I custom made this colour story, and this is what the palette looks like inside. As you can see from my eyes today, it matches very well with my aesthetic. I just don't reach for it. I don't know why. I reached for it for like a week when I first got it, and then it just went to dust. It's sad. It really is. These shades are really nice. They're not my favourite. Lethal formula isn't my absolute favourite formula, which probably is a huge reason why I don't reach for it. I do prefer other formulas like Beauty Bay, like Colourpop. They're just cheaper. So yeah, I do want to reach for this. I want to reach for all of these, that goes without saying, but like, This one hurts a little bit because it was so expensive and I made it myself. This is my own colour story, so that's sad. I've spoken a lot on this channel about how this palette kind of burned me. This is my Natasha Denona Mini Star palette. I have not reached for this so far this year. This is what it looks like. This has very sentimental value to me. I bought it for this shade and I ended up hating that shade. This is my least favourite shade in the whole palette. Ironic. This I bought the only time I've ever been to a Sephora. It was in Seville when I was visiting Dan. It does hold sentimental value to me. It represents being in Spain. That trip, I had such good fun. It was amazing. But I just don't reach for it. As I said, this blue sold me because I love blues, but this isn't a vibrant blue. This is a very neutral blue. It looks blue in the pan, but on the lid it just looks brown. It just looks murky. It just looks not nice, not appealing. So I'm left with this, and this is not my colour story. I love bright colours, as you can see. I love being creative and throwing bright, vibrant colours on my eyes, especially in the summer. This just doesn't do that for me. I'm really sad about that because we all know Natasha Denona isn't exactly cheap. It does hold sentimental value, so I would have loved for it to actually work for me, but sadly it doesn't. Next is my Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. This is what it looks like inside. It is very fall, very summer this side, and then like fall, autumn. So I think I may be reaching for this more in that end of the year. And again, it does depend. One of these shades could be rolled into a Pan Those Eyeshadows or a No Pan Left Behind project. We don't know. We don't know. I impulse purchased this, and maybe I shouldn't have because, again, there's a lot of these like warm pinky tones that I don't necessarily gravitate towards. I do 100% gravitate towards the more cool toned neutrals if I am wearing neutrals. If I'm not wearing neutrals, more like this kind of baby puke green and very vibrant cool tones. That is what I love. This palette just doesn't offer me that, and I'm slowly learning throughout wearing makeup and playing with makeup that warm tones just aren't for me. But then I don't want to get rid of all my warm tones because then I'm like, well, what if, you know, in a few months I want to play with warm tones? You see my dilemma? My little debacle? Next is my Frozen Elsa palette. This is what this palette looks like. It's very pink, as you can see. These two matte shades, this is a matte with glitter, but you know what I mean, and this matte shade, they do pull very pink. I've got hair on my face and it's itching. Yeah, this palette does pull very pink. There is obviously this blue and this silver, which can pull it more cool toned. But I do need to play with this. I bought this quite a while ago and I just haven't played around with it, which is really sad. I wanted to talk about these two together. I had this palette. This is the Huda Mauve Obsessions. I had this palette in my collection. Didn't use it. Didn't use it at all, pretty much. And then I decided to buy the Colourpop Making Mauves. Why? I have no idea. These are both very pink leaning palettes, as you can see on my eyes today. This look I would wear every day if I could. I love bright teals and greens and blues, as I've been saying. These colours just don't do it for me, and I don't know why I decided to buy this when I already had this and didn't use it. I had this in a Project 10 uses last year and it was a struggle. It was a struggle to use it, and I don't really think I've used it since then, really, which is, again, so sad. Quality's fine in both of these, it's just these colours I don't reach for, and I really want to start reaching for these kind of things, even if it's just like this pale mauve kind of neutral in the crease. Just that. Just to get some use out of these, and if by the end of the year I really don't reach for them, I may be decluttering probably this one, to be honest, because I do have a bit of a collector's mentality with Colourpop. I don't buy all of their palettes because I would be in debt, but the palettes that I have from Colourpop I do like to hold on to. Okay, two more palettes. This is another Colourpop palette, the Orange You Glad. I have not used this year. This is perfect for the summer. Look at this. I'm hoping that within the next few months I'm able to pull this out because I love this palette for the summer. Autumn, winter and spring, I never look at this palette. It is very neglected. It is one of the most neglected palettes in my collection. As you can see, the shades aren't really used. They don't look used. And it's really sad. It is. It's so sad because I, again, struggle to wear really warm tone shades. And this is orange. You can't get much more warm tone than orange. And finally, the last palette is the W7 Total Eclipse. Now, I really wanted the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette for a while. I'm so glad I bought this instead because it is so much cheaper and I don't use it. There are these beautiful like blues at the top, but this is the only dark matte and it's like a plummy purple. So if you want a dark outer corner, which I always do, I love a dark outer corner. If you want that, you're gonna have to go pink. That you can't go deep and neutral with this palette. It just doesn't work and it's just sad. So hopefully, again, I can get a little bit of use out of this in the next 6 months. So they are all the palettes that I just have not used at all this year. It's really sad. Again, at the end of the year, I am either, I don't want to do option 1, but either talking about the palettes that I still haven't used or talking about my least used palettes because I really do want to use all of these at least once in the next 6 months. That would be amazing. Obviously it all depends on projects. I do a few randomized projects, so a shade could be randomized into that. It's just sad to see my collection going a little bit unused and a little bit unloved. So that is the end of today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. Do you own any of these palettes? Are some of these palettes some of your favourite palettes? So let me know. Give me some tips on how to use them because they will be very much appreciated. Have an incredible day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!